quick, look surprised. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, you know, the housing deal with the government, are headed for another bailout. What? Taxpayers have pumped over $200 billion into Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac after the financial collapse of 2008. Now the Inspector General's Federal Housing Finance Agency has issued a warning that both of these entities are headed for another bailout. This is not a warning, clearly, it's an inevitability. The housing market is set to recollapse, as I told you it was going to happen in the near future, which will blow up both Fannie and Freddie once again. Future profitability is far from assured, Federal Housing Finance Agency Office of Inspector General said in a report, pointing out that the firms could again chalk up losses on their derivatives portfolios, similar to those they reported in the fourth quarter. Quote, this increases the likelihood of additional Treasury investment, the report stated. Now, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, government financial agencies for housing, should do nothing but deal with housing, and yet I hear a term like firms could again chalk up losses on their derivatives portfolios, and one has to question, why would any federal agency, in this case, you know, Fannie and Freddie Mac now, which are now again covered, the government has taken over, have derivatives at all? And as you know, the derivatives will be blowing up, so to speak. And they're mentioning it here. Similar to when Fannie was plugged full of derivatives under CEO Franklin Raines, who, by the way, had no clue how catastrophic the situation was and should be in jail, but instead received a $100 million you're fired severance agreement. The government has once again looked the other way while Wall Street unloaded another avalanche of derivatives onto Fannie and Freddie. Once again, the taxpayers will pay for this. This is not a warning, this is a get ready, here it comes statement. The fact is that most of Fannie and Freddie's profitability has been driven by the same fraudulent mark-to-model accounting that has generated most of the big banks' profits since 2009. And the government used this fraudulent accounting to suck money out of Fannie and Freddie. The quote-unquote improved balance sheet has enabled both Fannie and Freddie to issue debt to investors. The money raised has been used to reload their mortgage holdings and for dividend payback payments to the Treasury, which again will amount to nothing when they have to come begging back to that same Treasury to say, we need some more. We've been making you payments, but we can't complete that, and as a matter of fact, we need a massive amount of more bailout money. That's going to be coming. So the CEO warned of the possibility, Fannie Mae's, of a possibility of another bailout in February when he mentioned it, after announcing the smallest dividend payment to the Treasury in more than 4 years. This is not a warning, it's an inevitability. The housing market is set to recollapse, which will blow up both Fannie and Freddie once again. End of story. So, I mean, nothing has changed. Oh yeah, but Obama, the Democrats took over, now the Republicans took over. Oh wait, same problems. Why? Because nothing got solved. We threw more gasoline on a fire, as we all said, We threw gasoline, matter of fact, not gasoline, high-octane jet fuel on a fire, and we're told this is how you put out a fire. I remember doing videos using that example. House is burning, financial institutions, debt, country's debt, etc. Fire department comes, and instead of a water tanker, they've got a fuel reloader, fuel tanker. And it says right on the side, highly flammable. And you see him getting the hoses, and we're gonna, whoa, stop. What are you doing? The house is on fire. We know. We're the experts. We're the fire department. So you're gonna douse this with gasoline and fuel? Yeah. Who would not sit there in absolute awe, thinking, what did I just see and what did I just hear this man tell me? This expert fireman. I.e., the example, expert economist, Treasury Secretary, Federal Reserve head. Those guys. We're going to bail out the banks. We're going to increase the national debt by double in a matter of a few years. It was $9 trillion when Obama took office. It is now, before he left, again, 2 terms, it is now doubled to 18. And it hit 16 trillion from 9 to 16 in just the first few years, just in case anyone forgot. So it's all, well, it took 8 years. No. Just the first few years, we were up to 16 trillion like that. And I got news for everybody else. Well, if McCain would have won the first time, or, pick your favorite politician the second time, yeah, go, I'm listening. These things wouldn't have happened? Is that what you're telling me? You silly peasant, like the rest of us. I'm going to use a story that I think I first heard from Lindsey Williams many years ago. I think it was him. And he said, the presidents, picture them as the conductor of a train. The train's tracks are already laid. The destination of the train is already basically pre-configured. It's going there because it's going along the pre-laid tracks. And every 4 years, sometimes 8 years, a new conductor comes along, known as the president. And he acts like a big shot. He's on TV, he smiles, he takes his airplanes and his helicopters, and I'm signing this bill, and I'm going to make some executive orders, and I'm a big shot. But he's only doing what he's supposed to be doing when he's supposed to be doing it, regardless of what flavor of a politician he is, Democrat, Republican, anything, it doesn't matter. He's driving a train, he's the conductor of a train that already has a predetermined destination. And in case you're wondering what that destination is, it is falling off of a cliff with your 401k, your retirement, and your country as a whole. So when he steps off and the next one comes in, and now we're hearing, oh, Ted Cruz, man, Ted Cruz, he could be that guy. You do realize Ted Cruz's wife is a very high-level executive at Goldman Sachs. Do you think for 1 second, old Ted Cruz, man, he's the man? He would be another Obama in a heartbeat. Who is this guy? First-term senator, and you hear all of Obama. Go back and listen to all of Obama's speeches before he became president. All of the change we can believe in, and if you listen to what he said, you would be hard-pressed to think, man, this guy is a flat-out bastard of a liar. You would not think that. Now you would, because you've seen what happened. But back then, when he first came out, well, who is he? You couldn't really tie him to anything. The elitist, no. This guy might be a legitimate politician. Change we can believe in. And then he got in office. And we waited. Change. Oh, no change there. Bailout. Oh. Massive increase of the debt. Sign that. Oh. Crazy yearly budget laws they're passing. Well, it's just a budget with some additional extremely disturbing laws and things squeezed in, right? That most people haven't read. I did some videos on them. Stuff like that. Did he decide this upon himself? Right? The first-term senator all of a sudden knows about all this stuff? No. He is that solid choice. He is the perfect choice for the elite. Because most of the people, like Obama, know nothing about nothing, which is why he had to have, and still does, have to have a teleprompter continuously whenever he speaks. He's the perfect guy for them to say, look, we've got you surrounded by quote-unquote advisors. Just like the kings of hundreds of years ago had advisors. And what do the advisors do? Well, this advisor, he's your economic advisor, king. Been doing it for, 20, 30 years. He's the man. He knows exactly everything related to finance. This is your guy. All right, cool. This guy over here, he's in charge of keeping the countryside safe, the kingdom safe. He's our expert in, or he's your expert in all things military and defense and offense and that stuff. Okay. And this one over here, he's in charge of the marketplace. Make sure that we're not taxing too much, make sure that we're not taxing too little, the kingdom's running solid. Okay. So what does the king do? He listens to his advisors tell him, well, we need to raise taxes for this reason. Okay, raise the taxes, signed off by the king. I'm the big shot king. But I did listen to my advisors, and I don't dare ever have a public speech where I tell everybody, oh yeah, everything I do, guys, for the last 8 years, wasn't really me, it was my advisors. I just sign off. You would look at the king as, oh my God, you're weak, and you don't deserve that, position. We should overthrow your ass right now. Never gonna say that. You ever have a president come out and say that? No. Because they're all the same, and it is literally, it's virtually, I should say, not impossible, but so close to impossible that it's been this way forever, which is, I'll say it, impossible practically, that any one person can come up and be president and have an understanding and really be informed on all of the issues one would need to know about as president. Finance, military, trade, markets, all these things, jobs, employment, etc. You're going to be hard pressed to find a person that meets those qualifications. Doesn't mean they don't exist. But when you hear about, Ted Cruz is thinking, oh, Jeb Bush is coming back out, oh, Hillary's coming. Doesn't matter. They pulled the ace out of their sleeve when they got Obama. That was the ace out of their sleeve because it threw everybody off. We didn't know who this guy was. You couldn't attach him to any kind of elitist group or anything. It was just, who is this guy? We all had to sit back and wait. Okay, is what he's saying real? Because if it is, oh my God, America has just taken the biggest turn in the history of the world for the positive, for the better, based off of everything he promised that he was going to do when he became president and fix things and all that. None of which have been done. And read my lips, you will not pay any more tax. Oh, wait a minute, you don't have health care? You're paying a tax. Oh, it's too expensive? Sorry, you still got to pay a tax. Oh, you lost your health care because you had a Cadillac plan that didn't meet the requirements of my new Obamacare plan. Better go get one or else you're going to get a fine or a tax. Okay. That's interesting. So, nothing new has changed. There'll be more bailouts. Fannie and Freddie are fixing to be bailed out. And as you hear all this, and when it comes back up again, just think about how that CEO of, I don't know if it was Fannie or Freddie now, got his little severance walk-away package of $100 million for one effing man. One man that took over something, caused more devastation to the taxpayer, which he's now left, and will be leaving more devastation to the taxpayer, was able to walk off, not with $1 million or $2 million severance package, which would have been absurd anyways. No, how about $100 million? While the rest of you suckers, us, suckers, Oh, healthcare's too expensive? You're going to pay a new tax. Oh, you had a 401k derivatives crisis just happened, which is going to be in the near future, and it's gone. So it's unbelievable because there's a lady named Elena that has been emailing me for the last few months, and she said, hey, I do have a 401k, and I've been listening to what you're saying. It makes sense, and I'm gonna call my 401k company to find out who deals, whoever we deal with, and ask them to, like you said, to park it in cash or whatever to get it out of the market and just hang on to it. So I said, all right, let me know how that goes. I want to know. I think it was the next day, maybe. Oh, hey, it's me again. Yeah, I just contacted the company that deals with our 401k. Our company doesn't happen to have the particular plan with that company that allows us to do such a thing, like you said, where you can park it in the side in cash. So they told me the only thing that I could do is go and put my funds into the lowest risk thing that they have for the time being, but they couldn't actually park it on the side in cash. They can't do that because our company doesn't have that plan with them. So I thought to myself, isn't that interesting? The only way to get out of a 401k safely, if you have a feeling the market's going to crash and you don't want to be affected, is to park your money in the side with cash. And she can't do it because her company she works for doesn't have the proper agreement or level of agreement with that 401k company, which more than likely is Fidelity, because that's all everyone ever talks about. Oh, Fidelity, yeah, we use Fidelity. And Fidelity is also, investing in plenty of different companies. Again, the risk factor, whatever, high risk, medium risk, low risk. As Lindsey Williams said, it's not going to matter, because when this goes down and the derivatives take everything down with them, if you have anything written on a piece of paper that you consider an asset or it's called an asset, it's not going to be worth the paper it's written on when this happens. So how could you avoid this? Park your money in the side with cash, because then it doesn't matter. If you had $20,000 in a 401k and the crash happens, you still have $20,000. If you can't do that, whatever happens at that point. Oh, $20,000 just turned to $5,000. Oh my God, what happened? Nothing. Just a 4 blood moon cycle, Shemitah cycle. Yeah, you wouldn't want my conspiratorial mind to tell you about these things. You wouldn't believe me anyways. And I can't wait to hear some of y'all's stories of when this happens. And you say, man, I tried to warn my brother, my sister, my whoever, my friends at work, coworker. They used to think I was nuts. And I told them about this thing, it's looking like September. I even told them September, October, it's looking like it's going to happen. And they still look at me like I'm some kind of moron. But then it happened. And you saw how terrible it was. Oh my God. And guess who came running to me to ask me how and why? And oh, I already know. The same people who thought you were a conspiracy theorist, that you were absolutely crazy out of your mind for talking about freaking blood moon cycles, occultism, and the Shemitah cycle, 7-year cycle of all cycles, Yeah, they're coming back to you now to ask you how you knew this, and all of a sudden you're not crazy and you're the go-to person. Meanwhile, you can say, yeah, I got all my silver, my gold, whatever, even my 401k money, I was able to somehow get that out of the, park it. In this lady's instance, Elena, she cannot. So she said, I heard about being able to roll it over into like an IRA, possibly. And I said, well, I don't know if I replied, but I thought that might be another alternative. If you can't park it in the side with, in cash, then perhaps an IRA might be the better solution. But all I gotta say is I don't have any of those, because I've been putting my retirement, whatever you want to call it, solely into silver. I believe that much. From what Lindsey Williams' elite friend said and everything else, doesn't matter what the precious metals do now, you're gonna want them after this crap happens with the derivatives. It doesn't mean it'll be the next day either. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden gold and silver just blow up, do a moonshot within days or the next day or whatever. Although it could happen, I don't know that it will. And I don't care, to tell you the truth. I'm going to be holding on to these things, my silver, for as long as I need to. And since I've been doing videos, which really started 2009 on YouTube, 2010, because I did Facebook at first, which was an epic failure. Naturally, you can see why. Just go to your Facebook page every day and you can see why it was an epic failure with the nonsense going on there. So, we're now 5 years into me doing videos, basically. And I said from the very beginning when I started talking about precious metals, this is not something for the short term, get rich quick. This is only to save your financial livelihood when the big crash happens, and it's going to be happening. Clear as day. As you can I just read you Fannie and Freddie. They're back in trouble because they're on the hook for tons of derivatives too. Who would have even thought such a thing? So you can come in, literally as a CEO, plant a weapon of mass financial destruction known as derivatives inside the building, so to speak, walk away with $100 million of taxpayer money as a bonus, severance pay, and have it leave behind a ticking time bomb. And then when that financial time bomb goes off, so to speak, he already has his cool million from years in advance. How many people are even going to remember that this happened? They're going to be concerned about what's happening right now. How did this happen right now? And hopefully that information gets to them. I don't know if we're going to be able to turn on Fox News or CNN or CNNBC to find out those kind of details. Oh, hey, by the way, after your 401k has been destroyed, the former CEO of Fannie and Freddie, you know how much those guys walked away with? And they left those companies with these derivatives products that just blew up the whole world's economy? I don't know if we're going to hear that kind of news on those channels. You're going to have to listen to old Realist News or some alternative media to get some real information. If you want to be highly informed, listen to the alternative media. Take care.